Oh, we're doing this, guide. Kick the intro. What's up, everyone? Kiros here, and today we're finally going to do our Razor build guide. We're going to keep it broken down to the chapters down below. We're going to break it down to how you get him and his talents, stats and gear that you want to get, weapons that you may want to use on him, and finally team composition. Now, a quick plug: if you guys have seen my stream at all, you can check out my socials down below. I play Razor every day, all day. He's a very greedy DPS, but an amazing DPS. Also subscribe, like, all that goodness. Let's kick off the video. Hey guys, Mini Kiros here. We're gonna go over how to acquire and Razor's talents right now. Now, Razor is one of the few heroes that you can actually buy from the shop right now. If you guys haven't done so, it does require doing some wishing, because you got to get these resources. You got to get the Masterless Star Glitter. Now, Razor was in the shop last month too, so we're hoping that he's in the shop every month, because if that's the case, you're gonna be able to get a 6 Constellation Razor, and that is amazing. So looking at Razor's talents first, you have normal attacks, just performs 4 consecutive attacks, does an AoE damage upon impact, plunge, typical that everyone else does. His bread and butter really comes from Claw and Thunder. You can do Claw and Thunder 2 different ways. You can either tap it to get a electrical orb, and then what you want to do is you want to tap that 3 times. You can get up to 3 electrical orbs, and then when you hold it, it pulls in that additional energy to build his burst, which is going to be his Lightning Fang. Now, Lightning Fang is that's the reason I call him a greedy DPS, is that once you pop Lightning Fang, you cannot switch characters. So you have to pre-prep the field with what you want to do. So a lot of times I'll have to, like, I'll use my Shangling, and then I'll use my Chi-Chi, and I'll use a bunch of other characters and get them all buffed up and ready to go, and then pop his burst and just go to town and do a ton of damage. So if we're looking at his skill attributes, obviously his burst, his Lightning Fang, is going to be your priority. It just does even more elemental damage on top of your regular damage. Your Soul Companion goes up based on your normal attack. So the more attack you get, the more damage it does overall. And the real big kicker is that he gets attack speed, and he gets an insane amount of attack speed. So leveling this talent first is going to be your priority. I would say leveling Claw and Thunder second, because Claw and Thunder hits like a Mack truck. Look at that. Level 4, 369% damage, and even the tap damage is really good. That's why, like, I can hit for 5, 6, 7,000. So this is going to be your second bread and butter. And then in all honesty, leveling his Q, you can put a couple talents into it. I wouldn't worry too much about leveling this talent in the beginning. His scaling on his auto attacks, not as good as some of the other Claymore users. So I would focus on the other 2 we talked about first. And then also touching on his talents real quick that I forgot about. We also have Awakening, which is just his passive. Decreases the cooldown of Claw and Thunder. Amazing. When he ults, he gets more. Hunger is a great talent. Increases Razor's energy. We'll get into that over the stats. But energy recharge, spoiler alert, is probably one of his best talents. And then he gets sprint speed like a few others as well. So quickly, since we're here real quick, we'll talk about constellations real fast. Now, Razor's built all around just doing more damage and getting energy back. So looking at his constellations, he gets natural crit rates, he gets elemental orb damage, and the biggest one is bite. As soon as you have bite, reducing enemies defense by 15% for 7 seconds is a huge amount of damage, especially if you combine that with super conduct. So that's lightning and ice together. So if you guys get a C4 Razor, I'd be using them. That's like 65% defense reduction. Oh, insanely good. All right, let's talk about the gear and stats for Razor. typically there's going to be two ways you can build Razor. One, you're going to either want to do heavy attack, but you're going to want to do attack no matter what. So sets like Resolution and Gladiators is going to go a long way. There's a couple other sets that you could probably work in there as well. Like the Berserker set, you can probably do if you want to get a little bit more crit hit rates. If you can get his crit hit rate to about 70%, and then take that passive C2, which is going to give you a 100% crit rate, that's one way to build him as well. Another set that you're going to want to go for, so currently mine is built for just raw attack, and I like to combine the 2 plus 18% attacks. Gladiator set is going to be by far the best set that you can go for. Looking at the 4-piece here, if the wielder is a Claymore user, it's going to increase normal damage by 35%. That's a huge amount of damage, and that's going to affect also the damage that you deal while you're in some of your others. The Gladiator's 4 set wins by and large, but if you take his best stat, which is energy recharge, you can almost get 100% uptime on Razor's ultimate, which is insane, which is absolutely insane. So when you do that, you just want to build into raw attack and maybe electric damage, but you can also get the thunder set, which is really good. Now for Razor, I highly suggest you don't get the 4-piece, even though he is your main attacker. So overloaded, super contact, you're gonna be triggering those all the time, but we're really just looking for attack plus the electricity damage bonus, which is going to go a long way. Also, when you're looking at stats, I have not been able to find one to this date. I've gotten very unlucky. You're going to be looking at mainly attack percentage. You're going to want to get your substats being crit rate, crit damage, elemental mastery, and just raw attack. That's going to go a long way. A stat that you could really, let me see if I can find one here. You don't want the main stat, energy recharge. You want to get that as a substat. You're gonna really want to look for it here. I got one right here, but this is not the right set, and this is not the right substats. Even though it's got elemental mastery and energy recharge, but electro damage bonus is gonna go a long way. And let me show you where we're gonna farm some of those sets real quick. So if we look at our map, and if you've seen some of my other videos, quick plug on how to get the Gladiator set. Most of the Gladiator set's going to come from the elites around the world. This is going to be the primary set that you want to go for, but this is not the set that I highly suggest that you try and get. Meaning that don't burn your resin on it. It's going to hurt you in the long run. You'll probably, as you get close to AR40, you get more and more 5-star drops. You're going to see a lot more of the Gladiator's finale from both the Wolf and Storm Terror, so you can get it from that. But in the mid-range game, anywhere between AR 25 to AR 39, in all honesty, you're going to want to farm a bunch of other sets. So let's look at some of the sets you're going to want to get. This is probably one of the best locations to get Razor's pieces. You can see here that it gets Thundering Fury, which is the 2 set. So if we want to build into that, that's going to increase his damage a lot. We have also the Resolution set, which is going to give us that plus 18% attack damage. Now, don't build into the 4 set of Resolution. That's not going to go a long way for you, but the 2-piece is very good. So you have a really high probability to get pieces that are going to be very good for Razor from this domain alone. Now, another set you can look for if you don't get the good Gladiator pieces is you could come get Braveheart from here as well. The only reason I would be cautious about doing this is that if you don't have a lot of Geo heroes or you don't plan to use Geo, this is not going to be the place that you want to farm. So just be careful that you guys are using your resin correctly. And here's your Berserker set. So worst case scenario, you're getting very terrible drops. You can just go hunt these all the time. Try to get some 4-piece or 4-star Berserker sets. And the Berserker set goes a long way. Razor, since he's a greedy DPS, there's a good chance he's going to have very low life. So you're going to get a lot of crit rate from this. So this could be an introductory set as you move up through the tiers. Energy recharge is huge. It is such a huge stat. Getting from your elemental particles, which you're already doing from tapping like E, and you're getting from killing enemies and stuff like that. You just, yeah, like I alt all the time. Like when I'm doing Abyss, I can alt almost 100% of the time with Razor. He's an absolute monster. So keep that into consideration. If you get some energy recharge on some weapons or some gear, that's actually a very good thing. That's a very good substat for him, especially with his passive. All right, we're going to quickly go over the weapons that are good for Razor. Now, the first two weapons are 5-star weapons from the gacha system. So, assuming you get very lucky or you pull the new banner that's coming out, Wolf's Greystone is by far his best weapon that increases just base attack damage. Also gives attack damage. It's just a very good weapon. Now, Skyward Pride is also a very good weapon from. You get base damage across the board, 8% as it increases. You also get energy recharge on this weapon, which is one of the stats we talked about being very good. And it kind of creates like the Zelda kind of Link to the Past Master Sword beam wave, which is actually really cool. So I actually prefer this weapon over Wolf's Gravestone, but Gravestone is better. Now we do have a 4-star, which is the Rain Slasher there. The Rain Slasher just does damage as there's electricity on the enemy. Now, since you're going to be in your ult all the time, there's going to be electricity there, so you're just going to do more damage with that weapon. And then we have the Prototype, which is the weapon you can make for free. So it's always good to put a free weapon on this list, so not everything is gacha or crafting or anything like that. This weapon's very good, especially out in the open world where you just want to smash and grab items and go. All right, let's talk about team composition real quick. I know everyone's always asking about that. So since Razor is your all-star DPS, since he's a greedy DPS, remember greedy DPSs that have ultimates that you can't swap off of are going to be what you need to build your team around. So since he's a greedy DPS, we need to build all the procables around him. Now, there's 3 characters I run. Now, I got a little lucky. I've got a 5-star in here, but mainly 4 stars. Since he's the second hit in the elemental combustion chain, which is very good because you're going to build him for attack. So he's going to hit like a truck, as you guys have seen. I'll flash some gameplay up here of just him hitting like an absolute monster. The team I like to run is Shangling. Now, she's able to put down her bear. Her Q is absolutely amazing. And she also grants, if you can level her up, she also grants plus 10% attack bonus. So you drop that first. It's going to expire. He's going to get attack bonus by the time you get to him. It's absolutely insane. I also like to run Xing-Chi. Very good support class, mainly because of the hydroponic. So when you cast his E, it's going to give you damage reduction by up to 24% or even more. I haven't run the numbers on that. But it's also going to heal him, which Razor needs a lot of healing when he's in his ultimate because you're not going to be able to swap to a healer. So this is a very good sub character to run with him. And then I also like to run Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi is going to be able to cast her E, which lasts up to like 20 seconds. That's going to help freeze the targets and also heal him some more. So now you have 3 characters that are really supporting him. Now check this. This is the best part. You've got fire, water, and ice, and you proc it with electricity. You're getting superconduct, you're getting overloaded, and you're getting electro. That's an insane amount of damage. By that time, once you run through that, Razor can burn a boss in literally like 5 to 10 seconds. It's nutty. So when you guys are looking at your compositions, let's look at some other ones too. I don't suggest doing Official with Razor. They kind of fit the same role. I know Official is a support, but since he's already doing electricity, you kind of don't want to do that. Chung-Yun gets an honorary mention here due to the AoE field he could put down in superconduct, just being super strong with Razor. So another good, I like to call them the Claymore boys. That's a good one for him. Another one you can do, obviously you can work Sucrose into that if you need a lot of AoE control and you're going to proc it to electricity, which is really good. And then obviously Barbara. Barbara's a good one as well because Barbara can put up her buffs and then you can switch to Razor and it's going to help out a lot as well. So a lot of characters that work really well with Razor are characters that you can use them real quick, pop off their E or pop off their Q and just swap back to Razor because you want to stay on Razor as much as possible. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that guide. Once again, I know we're already at the very end, so there might not be a lot of people checking this out right now, but make sure you do check the chapters, go back and forth. And if there's something I missed, hit me in the comments down below. I will try and answer it, or come join us on stream and I'll answer your questions live. And I look forward to the next guide that I got coming out later this week. Spoiler alert, it may be a healer that's not technically a healer. Anyways, I'll check you guys next time. Thanks so much for hanging out. Later.